Good morning and greetings from Northumberland. It's the 1st of October, Saturday the 1st of October. It's a bright morning this morning after a very dark and dreary, windy and rainy day yesterday. And we commemorate today Bishop Remigius. Remigius was a Frankish bishop, but it's very interesting. I'm just reading at the moment a book by Max Adams, called The First Kingdom, which is about the establishing of what we would call Anglo-Saxon England in the 400s, 500s, into the 600s, and even before that, with the break of the Roman Empire, etc., etc. And it's a fascinating picture of the building up of what came to be the beginnings of the English kingdoms, and finally leading to a united kingdom. And in the book, in the chapter I was looking at yesterday, he was talking about the situation on the continent among the Franks in Gaul, and he was talking about the king, the leader, the emperor Clovis, who married Clotilde, a Burgundian princess, and the influence of a Frankish bishop called Remigius. And I turn to the calendar this morning and see that we celebrate him. Remigius was a faithful bishop. Some say he was a bishop for 70 years, but he was certainly a bishop for a very long time, and he exercised an evangelistic ministry among the Franks in Gaul, in Northern Europe. And he was greatly benefited by the fact that he formed a relationship with Clovis, the king, the emperor, the leader. And Clovis had become converted partly through the influence of Clotilde, his wife, a Burgundian princess who was a very faithful Christian. A child who was very ill was healed. A battle that was going badly was won. And Clovis began to put this down to the providence of God, and finally was baptized by Remigius. And that set up a partnership by which Remigius could effectively evangelize in a way that hadn't been possible before. Now, why is this significant to us living in the UK? Well, because more than 100 years later, these patterns were repeated in Northumberland, first with Edwin and Paulinus in a limited way, and then very powerfully in the 7th century with Oswald and Aidan, and with Oswald's successors and Aidan's successors. What we call the Golden Age of Northumberland, the age of the saints, the age of the Christian kings, is rooted on if you like, a system that Remigius was very much involved in Gaul, among the Franks. A system by which a Christian king sought to use Christianity to bring his people together and to enhance the life of the kingdom. A system that was illustrated when the Queen died, because there, at the centre of both the acts of memory and bereavement, the funeral, the processions, and the many, many prayers and services that surrounded the death of Queen Elizabeth were people like the Archbishop of Canterbury, the Archbishop of York, the Bishop of London, and other bishops with royal offices, royal chaplains, keeping vigil. And that is, if you like, the working out of all that. Just as when the coronation comes, the archbishops, the bishops, and others will be involved in that. The crown and the church together for the good of the people. That's our heritage in Northumberland, a heritage we share with the rest of the country. But it's something worth remembering. We've taken to praying for the King at each Sunday service at the moment, in these early months of his reign, praying that he may know God's grace and God's love. And so as we remember Remigius, we pray for the way in which church and state can come together in a positive way, so that the gospel is shared, the poor are cared for, and service is at the heart of power and responsibility. May God bless and save the King. May God bless our country. May God bless the people of Ukraine in difficult days again. May God bless the people of Iran facing further persecution and suffering. May God bless us all. Amen.